If you're not deeply immersed in Scandinavian geography, Åland might remain a mystery to you. A region that escapes the radar of many, Åland stands out as an autonomous and peculiar territory in Europe. Despite its autonomy, with its own flag, anthem, and parliament, its mention may prompt confused looks from many global interlocutors. Therefore, let's delve a bit deeper into the intriguing Åland. Åland is strategically located at the entrance to the Gulf of Bothnia, serving as a link between Sweden and Finland. The main and most populous island, Fasta Åland, where the capital, Mariehamn, is located, is 170 kilometers from the Finnish coast and only 50 kilometers from the Swedish one. The archipelago, with its approximately 6,500 islands and rocky formations, covers a total area of about 1,600 square kilometers, of which only 60 islets are inhabited. The 30,000 residents of this nation predominantly live in Fasta Åland, which is the beating heart of the country, connecting both geographically and culturally Sweden and Finland through its unique and fascinating territory. Although under Finnish administration, Åland boasts Swedish as its official language, spoken by 93.5% of its inhabitants. Its history, rooted in Viking traditions, was shaped by a mosaic of influences and conquests, with the Christianization by Swedish missionaries in the 12th century being a notable milestone. However, after a significant maritime triumph, Russian Tsar Peter the Great in 1714 incorporated the islands into his empire, establishing them as a Russian outpost. With Finland's declaration of independence from the Russian Empire in 1917, a new chapter unfolded for Åland. The local population, largely of Swedish descent, desired self-determination, with sympathy and support from Sweden, due to a considerable Swedish diaspora in the region and a cultural and linguistic affinity. However, Finland, while willing to grant autonomy to the archipelago, firmly resisted the idea of full independence for Åland. The dispute escalated into an international crisis, which, after World War I, found a stage for discussion in the newly formed League of Nations, whose mission was to mediate such conflicts between nations in a more peaceful and amicable manner. Åland, as an independent entity, serves as an associate member of the Nordic Council, maintaining its own police force and postal services. The archipelago exercises robust autonomy in various areas, including healthcare, education, and transportation, with Ålanders enjoying exemption from mandatory military service. While Finland is often acclaimed as the happiest country in the world according to various surveys, Åland even surpasses the Finnish average in several happiness and well-being indicators, enjoying a notably high standard of health among its residents. Before becoming a Russian outpost, Åland had an aura of isolation on its islands. Over time, it underwent a process of urbanization that, while proportional to its modest size, was significant. Mariehamn, currently the most prominent city in Åland, was established by Russian Tsar Alexander II in 1861 and was named in honor of his wife, Empress Maria. Similar to other former Viking strongholds, Åland traditionally relied on maritime transport and fishing as primary sources of livelihood, a heritage that still resonates in the archipelago's identity. Åland's economy is intricately tied to the sea, with approximately 50% of its economic activities rooted in maritime endeavors. The Maritime Museum stands as one of its main tourist attractions, housing, among other artifacts, Arabian coins that bear witness to the archipelago's long tradition of establishing trade routes with distant regions. Additionally, agriculture also plays a vital role in the local economy. Those who set foot in Åland are often captivated by its lush and distinct nature. Due to its southern location in relation to the rest of Scandinavia, the archipelago enjoys a milder climate than its neighbors, Sweden and Finland. Specifically, between May and August, the area becomes one of the sunniest spots in the entire Scandinavian region. The prosperity of the land is reflected in the quality of its agricultural products, with honey being a standout due to the rich and varied diet of bees provided by the diverse local flora, considering it one of the best in the world. Apples also shine in Åland's agricultural production, earning the archipelago the affectionate epithet of Finland's apple orchard. The extended days and abundance of sunlight bestow Åland's apples with vigorous production and a unique flavor. A picturesque detail of the local agricultural scene is the presence of the oldest potato chip factory in all of Finland, situated in this same archipelago. Furthermore, Finland, renowned for its success in the software industry, particularly in software and mobile gaming, has seen ÅLAND tread similar paths in recent times. The region's software and gaming sector has experienced rapid growth, with the emergence of bold and promising brands. To further encourage this growth, the government has proclaimed programs aimed at enhancing and expanding the sector. Interestingly, ÅLAND also boasts its own internet domain extension, with AX domains signifying a local virtual presence. When the archipelago aligned with the European Union in 1995, through a special protocol that set it apart from Finland, one of the privileges granted was exemption from EU customs and tax practices. This privilege was based on the premise that if EU customs and tax practices were adhered to, the thriving maritime activity, a vital source of revenue for ÅLAND, would be significantly constrained. Ships from Sweden, Finland, and Estonia regularly dock in ÅLAND, bringing with them a daily influx of passengers whose primary motivation is to purchase duty-free and tariff-free products. Despite the low unemployment rate in the archipelago, as is common in many island nations, the prices of consumer goods and food tend to be higher compared to those on the mainland. On the other hand, distance education or homeschooling, which had been debated in Sweden for years before the outbreak of the pandemic, gained global adoption during this critical period, and in some institutions, has become a permanent, full or partial practice. The growth of the refugee population in Sweden raised concerns about the declining quality of education in its schools, leading to an increase in the number of homeschooled children in the subsequent years. However, the Swedish government vehemently opposes homeschooling for school-age children, arguing that this practice could disrupt social bonds and undermine the democratic tradition. As a result, homeschooling was banned in Sweden in 2011. In contrast, Finland is more permissive, offering this alternative to families who prefer it. As I mentioned earlier, Swedish is not only the official language of ÅLAND, but also the language used in its educational system. Some Swedish families, staunch advocates of homeschooling, chose to relocate to ÅLAND after the ban was imposed in Sweden in 2011. It is not uncommon to observe vigorous separatist resistance in autonomous regions, and ÅLAND is no exception, hosting a substantial community that aspires to complete independence. The political party Future of ÅLAND represents this community, with its primary mission being to lead the country to a state of full independence and freedom. Since the dawn of the new millennium, the party has consistently gained seats in the local parliament, which is composed of 30 seats. ÅLAND is also known as a place where summer residences are a common practice. When the summer months arrive, especially residents of the capital, Mariehamn, seek refuge in their summer homes, which provide a more secluded retreat and a closer connection with nature. In ÅLAND, there is a regulation that ensures everyone the privilege of camping freely. This means that anyone can set up their camp in various locations, as long as they do not stay in the same place for more than a few nights, avoid lighting fires, and maintain a respectful distance from private properties. In a destination that attracts thousands of nature tourism enthusiasts, this regulation aims to provide the freedom to explore the natural beauty by camping. Due to its modest size and island constitution, ÅLAND offers a relatively subdued social life. The capital, Mariehamn, the most bustling region of the country, has a population of 11,500 people. A walk down the busiest street in Mariehamn can be completed in just a few minutes. For this reason, Wednesday emerges as the busiest day in the nation. It's when restaurants, cafes, and bars experience their peak activity. On weekends, islanders often set sail for Stockholm in search of cultural experiences such as concerts, theatrical performances, movie screenings, and other events. Given its status as a small, sparsely populated island nation, it's common for the residents of ÅLAND to share some degree of familial relationships with each other. The interconnectedness among the inhabitants of ÅLAND intensifies the sense of mutual trust that permeates the local society. One of the most valuable assets of the archipelago is its red-toned granite. This rocky material is used in various construction items throughout the territory. Taking local roads as an example, they have a reddish hue due to the use of red granite in the asphalt composition. Additionally, as a nation, ÅLAND maintains a distinct vehicle registration system independent of other systems. In ÅLAND, public transportation is a convenience offered for free, and this prerogative is not limited to permanent residents. Visitors also have the freedom to use public transportation at no cost. Considering that settlements are compact and relatively small, there are public transportation routes that even traverse between cities, reaching even the most isolated areas.